In a divorce settlement, will the primary home always go to the primary caregiver? It's a great question. My name is Equitable Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public, particularly about this question. So please subscribe to our channel. So let's talk about that. You got a primary. What does a primary caregiver mean? It means the person with whom the child primarily resides. Is that person necessarily going to get the marital home? Well, there's short answers and long answers. I guess I'll give you both. The short answer is no. That person is not necessarily going to get the primary residence. The reason why that is because that primary residence is a marital asset. It's got to be divided. Now, you can agree with your spouse, as many do. The kids like the house, wife likes the house, they've been there their whole lives. Husband's already moved to a condo or an apartment somewhere, so he's okay with her keeping, the primary home until a certain time occurs. Maybe it's until the kids graduate. Maybe it's until the kids get into high school. Maybe it's 5 years. Whatever time they agree is fine. And then afterward, they can sell the home and they can split according to however they agree that split should be. They can do that. But understand one thing. The court is usually not in the collection business. It's kind of in the liquidation business. If you leave this up to the court, most judges will say, I'm not waiting 5 years for this guy to get his money out of that house. He needs that money to get his own place. We're not doing that. We're selling the house immediately. We're going to sell the house, after the divorce. We'll list it. I'll give you 30 days. I'll give you 60 days. The court's not going to give somebody until the youngest finishes high school to sell a house. That's not going to happen. Court won't do it. And if you can make an agreement like that, that's fine. If not, not. And understand that that's what the court will likely do. Having said that, though, there's another issue. And the issue raises another possibility. What if we have marital assets that are sufficient to cover the departing person's share of the home? Well, if we have that, it's a completely different story. Let's say husband and wife both work, but the kids have always lived in this Oak Park neighborhood. So mom really wants to stay with the kids. They got all their friends here. They go to local schools. That's what mom wants to do. All right. Well, let's say the equity in the house is $100,000. So in order to stay in that house and not sell it, she's got to pay him $50,000, his share of that equity. Maybe she doesn't have the $50,000. Well, if she does, it's easy. But if she doesn't, maybe we give the $50,000 in another way. Maybe there's a 401k that she was going to get $50,000 of. He keeps it. Then all of a sudden we're even. Or maybe there's a lot of debt. And, instead of giving him the money, she takes all the debt. Now, that could be a problem because maybe she can't afford the house and the debt. But maybe she can. Maybe she's the big breadwinner and not him. So every situation is going to be different. There is a way for the primary caregiver of the child to get the primary residence, but understand it's got to be negotiated. It's got to be the result of an equitable settlement that pays everybody about the same. If she's keeping that, then she's losing other assets to make up for it. It's got to be like that. Left to the judge, if he's got to divide everything, that everything's likely to include that house. And he's not likely going to say, well, this kid is 5, we're going to wait till he's 18 and then sell the house. The court's not going to do that. The court's not going to risk that something will happen to the house, that the market will change, that the neighborhood will change. The court's not going to do that. The court's going to give everybody the opportunity to move on in the same way. And that may mean selling that house, paying real estate commissions, paying seller's transfer tax, and dividing what's left. And you'll get $30,000 and you'll get $30,000. You figure out where the kid is going to be, and you can be the primary caregiver of that child in a brand new primary apartment. And don't expect that the court to do otherwise. So remember this when you're negotiating. A lot of people think, here's a great tip. A lot of people think when they're negotiating that their fallback position is, doesn't matter if I won't agree with you because the judge is certainly going to see it my way. Here's a hot tip after 38 years of practice. It's not likely that the court is going to see it 100% your way. Even if the court sees this thing in 100%, it'll see something else, not 100%. Generally speaking, if the court is doing its job, both parties will be equally screwed by the process, okay? It's not likely that a person's going to be 100% a victor to 100% a loser. That's not going to happen, particularly in divorce where the court has a mandate to be equitable in the division of assets. So don't think as you negotiate, well, I'm sure I'm going to win anyway. A good lawyer is going to tell you, you may win. But there are options. You may win exactly what you want. You may win but not get exactly what you win. You may win in part and you may lose in part. So understanding that, it behooves the parties to come to some sort of agreement because remember one thing, it is better to come to an agreement, even begrudgingly, that ultimately have some kind of black robe tell you, you shall do this and you shall do that, because you may not like what follows the word shall, okay? And at that point, you don't have options of negotiation. Up until that trial, you got the ability, you have the control, you have the ability to have a negotiation. Don't draw a line in the sand and figure the court's going to see it your way, because it is possible that they will see it your way, but it is also possible that they won't. And there are two sides to this coin. If you have any questions about that, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.